Hey, welcome to Area Shores Prepping. I'm your host, Greg. Of course, you already know that, and I certainly do appreciate the new subscribers and everything else. And you have definitely helped me grow. Please continue to like, share, and refer this channel. Give me the thumbs up. I certainly do appreciate you. All right, here's some big breaking news, fresh off the betrayal presses in Switzerland, where this Biden administration is betraying America and Americans wholeheartedly, and you do not see this on the press. You've heard me rail about this WHO treaty, World Health Organization treaty, surrendering our sovereignty to the New World Order. And if you think this is a conspiracy, you better think again, folks, because this is coming at us like a freight train, just like everything else. They want to bum rush us and get this stuff done before they lose power. And I'm talking about Biden, his unelected bureaucrats, each and every Democrat that supports this maniac, and each and every rhino that also betrays Americans. But this is straight from Switzerland, where they are negotiating our health rights away. And this is also combined, it's a multi-level pronged attack. It is also combined with ESG. You know, you've heard me talk about that. It's where businesses have to say how they are going to go green, how they are credit scoring you, and everything else. This is all talk, all plans, all programs to rule the world. It's a simple fact of that. Fresh from Switzerland, here is the briefs, and I read the article, and I'm going to credit a reporter, J.D. Rucker, for this. I read his report. It is very long. I've broken it down into bite-sized pieces for sake of YouTube, but this is just... Friends, we don't stand a chance if we don't take action ourselves, get these people out of here, demand justice. The healthcare system was ruined under Obama, and now this is the finalization where the New World Order will have complete and total control over this. If you doubt my word, I'll read you the highlights of each of the paragraphs negotiated that is bypassing the Senate, so it doesn't need to be ratified, but we need to get this out of here. First one, control response declared in a national pandemic. It's how the World Health Organization say a pandemic is declared. And these are my words, not the reporter's words. A pandemic is declared. They have complete and total control on how the United States and the world, except for China, will respond to this pandemic. If the W.H.O says mandatory lockdown for however long, it's mandatory lockdown. If it says mandatory jab, it's mandatory jab. Mandatory medicine, fine. They control how we respond to a declared pandemic. And remember, they can declare gun violence a pandemic as well. That's the insidious part of this. Part two of the negotiated thing. And again, these are my words. I've condensed it down. There are pages and pages of explanations of each one of these. I've condensed it down. They will be able to tell the hospitals and your physicians during a declared pandemic what drugs can be used, what drugs are not to be used, and how to administer the drugs. And they have to follow the World Health Organization guidelines in controlling the pandemic, vaccinating, curing it, whatever it is. So there won't be any controversy, according to the WHO, about outside drugs that also work, like ivermectin or any of these others, or natural remedies. There's no getting around this. There's no religious exemption. They've done away with that. So get ready for that. If your doctor says, I have no recourse other than to give you the jab, and you have to be in compliance, the doctor has to do it, or else his license is forfeit. And that's where it's tied into this, as well as the ESG, because the hospital will be rated on compliance. This is really wicked stuff, folks. This is no longer conspiracy theory. Immediately upon signature of this treaty, 20% of our stored medical supplies, medicines, equipment is transferred to the World Health Organization to be distributed throughout the world. So if we have the pandemic cure, we lose immediately 20% of that to be distributed to those countries that don't have it. Masks, forfeit. Syringes, needles, whatever is gone. 20% immediately transferred over. We lose 20%. So 20% of us, American citizens who pay taxes, support through medical, we may not have it because it'll immediately be transferred over there to distribution. That's just pure communism. Taking from those that have to giving it to those who don't have, and it's just nonsense. And I took notes, by the way. The plan during a declared pandemic is to take DNA samples of every human being in that area, the population. So they're going to take your swabs for DNA, put you in a database, and issue you a Vax card, badges, or eventually a microchip that contains all your medical and financial history. So a pandemic is declared. Guess what? You have to report to the hospital, your doctor's office or something. They swab you, put your DNA in a database, and say, well, here's Greg. Here's his medical history. Here's his financial history. Here's his compliance. And they issue you a card. And eventually it'll be a microchip because people are saying, I don't want to carry it in my wallet because wallets are going to be obsolete due to cryptocurrency. You think about the direction this is going. And this is straight from Switzerland. The negotiated treaty surrendering our rights. This is fact, folks. Big Pharma will no longer have patents on medicine under this negotiated deal. However, Big Pharma will be allowed to recoup the profits from selling the medicine to the WHO. So Big Pharma loses the patents. Intellectual property is gone because it's for the greater good. So they have to lose their ingenuity, and China gets to say, I'll steal it for free now. We don't have to pay people for that. But for having to lose their intellectual property, guess what? WHO says it's worth X amount of millions or billions of dollars. Here's your check. You keep developing the medicines, and then we will distribute it to those that don't have it. What are you going to do, folks? What's going to happen is Big Pharma says that's no longer a lucrative business because we don't have patents anymore. And why should we develop medicines that are going to be stolen from us that we can't make profit off of for 10 years or so? No. So that's going to have a big chill on developing new medicines, new ideas, whatever it is. They've just surrendered their rights forcibly. Next, here it comes, folks. Here it comes. Here's the meat and potatoes of it. Establishment of the Department of Information. Direct, unadulterated censorship. We've seen this during COVID. I mean to tell you, they're establishing under WHO authority in each nation a Department of Information to toe the line that is distributed by WHO and say, wait a minute, that medicine doesn't work despite what they say, other doctors say. That's disinformation. We are eliminating that from YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, as disinformation. Freedom of speech ceases under this treaty. And you could say, well, that's my constitutional right. No, not underneath this. Not underneath this. If you're saying that vax doesn't work, or you say that vax does work, they're going to determine your posting as to whether it's truthful or disinformation, and you will be censored or removed off the air. They want complete and total control. They only want you believing what they tell you, just like in China and every other dictatorship. No free speech, no freedom of information without being first censored, viewed, and then allowed to flow into your phone, your tablet, your computer, whatever it is. They're going to control the flow of information to brainwash our young children, which is already happening. Establishment of a worldwide, and here it is, the mark of the beast. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Establishment of worldwide vaccine passports. They've already taken your DNA. Now they're going to issue a passport that has to be presented if you want to fly, take a cruise ship, take a train, take a bus, whatever. You have to have your vaccine passport in the time of pandemic. You have to be green lighted, just like in China. You have to show your vaccine passport in order to get a job. And remember, under this, they've eliminated religious exemption. So if you don't have your vaccine passport, submitted your DNA, you cannot buy, sell, trade, travel, whatever it is. You can still be a member of society, but they'll lock you out. And it's being negotiated right now in Switzerland, and it's going to be presented to Joe Biden very shortly to sign. And he's already said, I am not signing any legislation that removes ESG from our Green New Deal. He's already said, I want full ESG. I want full control over businesses that say, nope, you don't meet the Green New Deal. We're not doing business with you. We're going to blackball you. We're not going to hire you. We are going to force you into compliance. No natural gas stoves anymore? Nope, none of that. Your credit scoring on your Green New Deal, not good enough. You got to do better. We're putting you out of business. This is how it's going, folks. This is how evil and demented this man is. This is why he was placed in office. So he rubber stamps everything that the globalist powers want to pass to control us. They are going to make America fall from within. We've already seen it. The corruption is knee deep, and it's heading faster up our bodies than you can even imagine. Pretty soon we'll be over our heads, swamped with this nonsense. We're going to have to take our stand and realize we are on our own. This is a treaty. This is the agreement surrendering our rights to the World Health Organization controlled by China. And you hear politicians saying, we got to fight China. And you hear other politicians, oh, that's not the real threat. Russia, we got to have war with Russia. We're going to end up in war, and they're going to put this in, bypassing us, sneak this in, and then they're going to say, we now control your health, which is what they did under Obama. They destroyed the health care, and now we're going to replace it with the World Health Organization. We're going to take away your guns, and you see this being passed all the time across the United States. Gun control. They're going to reinstitute disinformation, whatever, State Department, whatever it is. They tried that under the State Department, and that was booed down, thrown out. That Jankowicz, whatever her nutty name is. But they're going to put it in there again. Control information flow. You better be prepared, folks. That means be stocking up on food, information, reading, who's supporting this, who isn't supporting this. Start talking to other people. Because if you're saying, I'm not going to give my DNA, I'm not going to comply to this, you're on your own. So you're going to need to have a barter trade system and who is on the outs and know what they have that you can use. It is really rough. Really rough. You need to read up on it. Thank you for liking and subscribing to Air Resource Prepping. Greg out.